Okay, welcome to part 2 of the side brush belt replacement. What I've done is I've kind of cleaned out my interior, and I'm going to show you two things. This was the belt that was in the Neato OEM belt when we purchased it, and you can see it snapped. It's really just like a round O-ring. It's perfectly round, and so it's not a V belt or a square belt. And then I ordered replacement 2 millimeter thickness, 25 millimeter inside diameter that I'm going to use to replace it with. And I've cleaned the area from the dust and debris that collects in this cavity. Alright, now we're ready to replace it. That's pretty simple. All we need to do is we'll feed the new belt over the capstan here, and then over the motor, and there you see, just slips right in place, and now the two of them are doing what they're supposed to do. So we're in good shape. Now reinstallation, they always tell you, is the reverse of everything else you did. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to flip the board up so we can get this underneath. Make sure that wire not caught on anything for the motor, and then it slips right down, line up the 3 holes, and we're ready to put the screws back in. And the way I'm going to do that is, and I highly suggest, my screwdriver I magnetized so that I don't drop these screws where I can't reach them, so the screws will stick to my screwdriver. We'll put that one in. And I won't tighten them all down yet until we get all 3 of them in. So just mostly in. And then put this one. And again, I like to leave them loose so all 3. Grab the third one. And again, that third one's hard to get, so we flip up the board and kind of wedge the screwdriver in there, so you don't strip the plastic, especially on the one. And this one I'll tighten down all the way. There we go. Let the board go down. Tighten this one down. And tighten that one down. So now the motor housing is back in place. If you put your finger underneath, you can actually twirl the capstan and see that it's moving freely and it's not binding up on anything. So now we just need to start reassembling the robot. So remember earlier in the video I flipped up the 2 white tabs, so I'll push that down over there. And this one over here. And it's really important that everything line up, because this board has these switches on it that have to line up at the top. And if you don't have the board exactly in perfect alignment, those switches will not engage. Make sure that the rubber switch here that controls the dustbin is in place. And we look like we're in good shape. Okay, so now I'm going to reattach this wiring harness. So we'll pull this back from where I had it. Now when you put the switch in, make sure that spring is behind the tabs so that that action works like it's supposed to. And now we'll just go around the horn with the connectors. Okay, so now we have all the connectors put back in their correct location. We'll grab the USB cover and slip that back over the USB. There we go, our USB cover's in place. And while you have the robot open, it might be a good idea to look at a couple of things. Make sure that the LiDAR unit is clear and that the belt here is not damaged or broken. Ours is in pretty good shape. And when you're gonna, since you've been moving this wiring harness, make sure that none of the wires get pinched when the cover comes back down on top of it. So make sure they're all in the channel and not hanging off the edge of the plastic pieces on either the inside or the outside. Alright, now with that being done, we'll make sure our connector on the right hand side is in good. We'll flip the lid back over top of it, and it'll kind of slide into place if you've got all the wires in the right place. Make sure the tabs are aligned. And then when you fit the top down, you have to make sure that the dust cover switch pokes through the little hole up in the top. And just make sure before you flip it and start putting screws in it that the rest of the robot lid closes down without any wires sticking out. Okay, it does. Now we're ready to reassemble the 10 screws. So let's do that. Now all the torque screws are the same, so it doesn't really matter which ones you use for which of the holes. And again, this is all plastic construction, so no need to tighten them down too much, otherwise you'll strip the plastic inside. So that's the two on the top. Now we'll flip the robot over. We'll do the 8 on the bottom. And again, my recommendation is not to tighten them down 100% until you get them all started. This way, if there's a wiring problem or something's caught somewhere, you haven't pinched anything. Okay, I now have all 8 of the bottom screws in, so I'll tighten the rest of it down now that everything's in good shape. And while you've got the robot apart like this with the lid off, make sure that all your side switches work. And we're ready to reassemble the bumper piece. The bumper piece, as I mentioned earlier in the video, has these tabs that are going to go into these slots. So you just slip it over. Make sure that, okay, so the bumper's on now. Now we're ready to reassemble the battery. This is all standard reassembly stuff. There we go. Push it all the way down, it'll lock in place. Now before I put the rest of the covers in, I want to show you one thing for examining the belt. There's a slot right to the adjacent to the actual brush connector, and if you need to check to see if the belt is the problem, there are 2 easy ways to check. First would be obviously if you can twist the shaft and it doesn't feel like it's twisting the motor. That would be one indication. The other indication is, and you can't see this on the camera, but you just stick a little probe down there, you can actually see the belt going around the capstan, and if you move the probe in there, you'll be able to see if the belt is working or not working. But usually you can just do it by feel. But this way may save you the trouble of opening up the whole robot just to find out that the belt wasn't an issue. Okay, so now we're ready to put back the rest of the user pieces and give it a whirl. Thanks for watching the video.